Life is like a movie. The name of the movie is An Extra Long Day. We are born, live a short life, and die. It is as fast as one day that is extra long. During that long day, life can be and is tough. From birth to death, we have disappointments, sickness, and pain that we have no control over. The rest is our own movie. We write the script, we direct it, we act it out. The script should be written with feeling, common sense, purpose, and meaning. It should be directed with vigor and realism. It should be acted out positively and persistently to achieve perfection with love, forgiveness, compassion, humbleness, sincerity, and honesty. At the end of the movie, we will be judged by our audience and critics. Thank you. Hi, my name is Cindy Papale, and welcome to the Empty Cup Runneth Over website. I'm here today to share with all of you my journey and battle with having had breast cancer. I have here with me today Dr. Gail Ironson from the University of Miami Psychological Services Department. Welcome, Gail.
Hi.
Hi.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here today.
And I know that many of you are interested in hearing about Cindy's trials and tribulations, and so that's the main purpose of our being here today. So I'm wondering, Cindy, if you could start from the beginning and tell us how you found out that you had breast cancer.
Well, I initially found out about my breast cancer when I went in for a routine mammogram, which I do yearly. I know the American Cancer Society recommends beginning mammograms at the age of 40 and at 35 for women who have a family history. I do have a family history. Actually, both my mom and father's sister had breast cancer. Also, since I work for a breast surgeon, I decided to start at the age of 30. So the day that I went for my routine mammogram, actually, I went in, I knew everybody, I was comfortable, and I just, was basically in there for my routine mammogram. And then after the mammogram, the radiologist came out, and I was, we know each other. So having worked there, everybody knows me. So I just saw in his face when he said that you needed to have an ultrasound. And it was just, call it intuition, there was just something that made me know at that moment I had breast cancer, although it wasn't confirmed. So I decided to have an ultrasound as recommended, and at that point a biopsy was recommended after the ultrasound. So the actual system was the mammogram, the ultrasound, and then the biopsy. And the biopsy, in July of 2000, I was diagnosed with stage 1 invasive ductal carcinoma. It actually was a multifocal cancer that I was a little bit surprised to find out. I had 2 more cancers behind the original tumor.
So it must have been quite a shock.
Actually, believe it or not, I was very shocked. I guess even though I had a family history, I just really, I went in, hi everybody, and I just never thought, about getting a diagnosis. And nobody likes, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate hearing those words for the first time, your biopsy is positive for breast cancer. I had so many things run through my mind. It was a very difficult time for me, very traumatizing.
So what helped you through that initial time of being shocked that you had breast cancer and of making your immediate decisions that you had to make?
Well, after I was diagnosed and I had a left modified radical mastectomy, I was so disoriented. Everything was running through my mind, and the first thing that I thought when I was diagnosed was, not am I going to die, was how bad do I have the breast cancer? Because I knew more than the average woman because I worked for a breast surgeon. So then the second thought was, am I going to die? But back to your question, there's so many things that run through our minds, or a man or a woman, when you're diagnosed with breast cancer or any cancer, is the first thing is like, am I going to die? So going through all of that and, then prophylactically having the right breast removed was even more traumatizing because I was taking off a healthy breast by choice for fear of the cancer going back into that breast. So it was a very, very difficult time.
What led to that decision? It must have been a tough decision to make.
It was a very tough decision to make, and initially when I went in to have my left breast removed, I wanted the right breast removed, and my surgeon recommended that I wait. There was something that really bothered me about that, but I respect my doctors, and I said, okay, I will wait. So what happened was 3 months later, I went back in to have a mammogram of my opposite breast, and they saw suspicious microcalcifications, and they wanted to do a biopsy. And at that point, I said, no, I don't want a biopsy. I want to have the right breast removed. I did just decide to choose the aggressive measures. Now, there are a lot of people that would say to me, how could you take off a healthy breast? Well, I think being afraid of the cancer, or actually the risk of the cancer going over to the other breast, was of big concern to me. And it's a personal choice. Everyone has that right. It's a personal decision, and I chose to have the right breast removed prophylactically. Having had breast cancer kind of led me on a different path and a different journey. And I began to be invited as a guest speaker at the University of Miami to speak to college students about my experience of having had breast cancer, and I was petrified. I thought about it for a day, and I said, oh my God, how can I do this? But my passion to help educate the young was more important to me than my fear. So I spoke in front of 65 students, and they were amazing. The response that I got, and they just looked at me when I said, and I chose to have my right breast removed, and they just stood there. I mean, I felt really bad because they had this, the eyes got so big. And then once I explained to them why I chose to have it off, then they slowly understood my choice. Although many people would not have done what I did, and there are many people that did do what I do, remove the breast.
And one of the things that I know a lot of people appreciate about your sharing your story is that it helps other people feel that they're not alone in this process. And I'd like to point out to the audience that you've written this wonderful book, which is called The Empty Cup Runneth Over, which covers not only Cindy's personal story, but also she gathered chapters from experts on other decisions that you would have to make, such as reconstruction and chemotherapy and other issues that people have to face with breast cancer. A lot of women who have breast cancer, as negative an experience as it can be, find that there are some positive aspects to it. So I'm wondering if you could talk to us about that.
Well, I had someone say to me one day, having had breast cancer, did you find that as being a gift? And because really having had breast cancer ultimately did change my life, because I started lecturing and I started becoming an advocate to helping other young women, and I actually wrote The Empty Cup Runneth Over. But it was very difficult for me. It put me in a different path. Although I do have a job at the University of Miami as office manager in psychological services, I enjoy being an advocate. I enjoy helping educate other women. I enjoy being part of foundations and organizations, which I have many on my website that I link sites to. It's the best thing. But there is one person that told me, she says, tell me, do you feel like it was a gift because you're doing so much? No, I don't. If it is a gift, I'd like to give it back, because it's not really a gift. It is just something that happened to me for whatever reason, and spiritually, possibly there's a reason why I was chosen to get this disease. And I'm sure a lot of women sit back and saying, well, let me see, why was I diagnosed with breast cancer? What can I do to give back? Many people will run the Komen races. Some will donate to their favorite charity. Some will do as I did, write a book. Or a documentary or a film. I feel a sense of accomplishment by doing that, and I will continue lecturing and speaking and helping others, because that's what I want to do.
So there were a lot of people out there who can benefit from hearing your story and who can relate to your story as well.
Oh, absolutely. And there's so many people that I've met from organizations and foundations, and they're all loving and caring. And I really feel that having had breast cancer for me changed my perspective on life, but more so my journey and my path. And I am at this point right now writing another book. Yes, I am writing a movie screenplay, which I'm very proud of, and not if, when it comes out, it's going to be very good. I really am very proud of what I'm doing. I feel confident. I feel empowered. I'm just overwhelmed with feeling good at this point right now.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for sharing your story. And,
Thank you.
Fall helpless in your hands, shelter me with love. Together we will stand.